really compared it to the photograph I took, and I think all the mistakes in the drawing are just my mistakes. I don't know, I think things like that these things are too big, those rocks are too small, these are too big. I just think that's all my mistakes. So I was kind of hoping that maybe just saw things differently than a camera, but I think it's just really, I have to try to do a better job. And I also think, like, when I started putting in this yellow business here, I think that's part of getting too sort of fixated on like this area back here, too obsessed by it and staring at it too much without looking at everything else in the picture and letting it get, to draw too much attention. It's pretty much just the same thing I've been harping on about to you guys. Um, just because it's there doesn't mean you have to do it.
And why does it have to look exactly like the scene anyway?
Well,
It does.
I agree with you, Judy. It doesn't have to. I just always, you know, I like drawing and I like to draw well, and I just don't like to not draw it right. And also, I feel like it always causes more trouble later that I can't get the colors in exactly the right place where they belong. Um, so it's interesting to me. This part of the painting I definitely worked on more than this bottom half. And now even the things I'm doing now in the bottom half, and I'm really sorry, you guys, about getting this big, beautiful hunk of hair in the painting. I don't know what it was, why that's there, but you can see I'm really pretty much just building up stuff down here. I'm not doing, like, sometimes I talk about how I'm trying to do a finish stroke, like a stroke that could be a finished stroke, but right now what I'm doing, that is not that. It's more like trying to build up the right colors underneath that water still, even though I let sort of the top half of the painting get more finished. I should have worked on everything a little more at the same time.
Shoulda, woulda, coulda. Meanwhile, it's beautiful.
Oh, thanks. I knew there was a reason I reminded you to come to class. And look at
Those
that.
greens are working in there, aren't they?
Yeah, I thought that olive green, I just kept seeing olive green in there and then the purple. Um, but one problem is you let part of your painting kind of get ahead of the other part, and then when you spray it, it takes it all back down to that, takes it back to that level. So that kind of evens things out for you, whether you did it or not. But like to put that red in there, that was definitely just trying to get some of the underneath colors again that are going to come through the water. The water is really weird. I mean, it's really a weird combination. I mean, gray, right? You could certainly say, well, the water's just gray. But that's the other problem with working from a photograph. Like from real life, you really can see the colors much better than you can in the photograph. Yeah, I really wish I had somebody to help me film all the time because they would be yelling at me that I was in the way. I hope you're enjoying that plaid shirt. That is my favorite shirt. And I am trying to make my strokes kind of go the direction that things are going.
Is that a kind of blue gray that you're putting on now?
Yeah, I guess it is, unless it's that bluish green. It might be there's a color called bluish green that's number is
Mhm.
640.
Okay.
That's probably the 640.3. I think that's what that is. I was just wondering that, but it looks pretty green. And it's
Mhm.
really possible I just picked it up by mistake, you know,
Yeah.
and then stuck with it. And then I think this must be well, that kind of looks like black, honestly.
That's that deep, deep blue.
Yeah, I think so, unless it really is in fact black. I might have
Mhm.
gone mental and been desperate, you know, because I couldn't get those rocks dark enough. It's hard because, you know, you don't want to put in the white, but then it's hard to know if things are dark enough until you do that. So kind of
And
surely I
it's
went,
one of the problems with black that you can't put other colors on top of it,
yeah, it's just
or
slightly
can you?
greasy. It's slightly greasy compared to the
Uh-huh.
other Rembrandt. So I probably mentioned before when I did occasionally have some blacks that I was using, like when I was doing so many tractors, they were Holbein. Okay, I sprayed it right then. They were Holbein blacks because Holbeins are dustier and I don't really like them for that reason, but
Mm.
it meant I could go over the black, and they had more than one black. They didn't just have black, they had bluish black and
Ah. But
some
in this case, if you did some black and then you sprayed it, and then that meant you could then draw over it.
yeah, so usually if I find myself using black, I do it right before I spray it.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. But I just honestly, I'm sorry, I can't remember now if I used black or not, because this has been a couple weeks ago.
It looks like you might have.
It kind of
Was
does.
it hard to keep track of where you were in the painting and what you were looking at in the photo?
Oh, Fran, what you don't know is I didn't paint this from the photo. I'm actually out there.
Oh, you're actually out there. Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
so that was the thing. I just was like, when I took the photo of it, and then I was like, oh, did I really just draw this so wrong, or do I see it different when I'm out there?
Mhm.
Yeah, I was out there and I did it all in one morning. I was out there for a couple of hours. And it's a place it's not isolated, but there's not much traffic. There's not much foot traffic and there's no car traffic. So but I couldn't, you know, the waterfalls is so loud, I couldn't record any sounds. So I stripped all the watercolor sound out. But yeah, that's part of what's kind of confusing is that I'm not actually looking at this photograph. Although I tried to take it as faithfully to where I was exactly painting as I could. And as I said, I even went back and looked again to see, and with my phone, my camera there with this photograph on it to see if I was in the right spot and if I'd really taken the photograph as accurately as possible. And it seemed like I had. There was so much stuff though that's in the photograph that I had decided to leave out. There's all this junk. I mean, never saw it again once. I mean, never ever saw it again once I decided to leave it out. And there's sort of a little something right there that I did, but I wasn't going to put in all those trees and stuff that are there, those branches. So it's just funny how selective my vision is once I made certain decisions. And I really didn't mean to get in front of it so bad. It's really, I don't know, it's hard. It's hard not to. And the more I'm trying to finish stuff, the more I tend to ooze my way in front of the drawing instead of being on the side. And the other thing, Fran, is this is a place I've painted quite a bit. Last fall, I painted here a lot. So I've done quite a few, but I hadn't done anything since last fall of this waterfall. So it was, it was a whole new day for me. And I have been painting with my glasses that get darker when I'm outdoors, and I don't feel like that's been a problem for me, but I did discover 2 weekends ago that I cannot teach with those glasses on. I have to just wear glasses that don't have tinted lenses to teach.
You take your class outside?
Yeah, we did. My classes, they went out, it was a 5-week class and they got to go outside 2 days.
Oh, good.
Yeah, they were freezing, but they were troopers. It may be Rhode Island, but they're still New Englanders. Because I think it was about 54 degrees and cloudy.
That's cool.
Yeah, it was cool. But they all wore really appropriate clothing. Nobody chickened out. And maybe you notice how long it's been since I worked on the top half of the painting. Who knows if I'll ever work up there again. I'm still just trying to. That is really not a good way to do things. Oh, there, I sprayed it again. Looks like I only sprayed the bottom half too, doesn't it? That's when you know you're really desperate, when you're feeling desperate, when you only spray half your painting. Nice. And now you're watching paint dry. You see how different, like sometimes I'm really pushing it hard and other times I'm just skimming it over that surface. That thing about pressure, that's an important tool that you can use, how much pressure you put on your pastel. And sadly, you have no idea what I'm doing now.
Just pairing.
I think I've got the white, huh? Gonna be a
So-
big mysterious reveal here, hopefully. Get out of the way.
That's where the light touch is coming into play.
Yeah. Sadly, you can't see really much of that light touch. I need a friend here who'll go out with me. Who doesn't have to stay with the other kid while I'm out.
When are you moving, Jeneane?
Not till September 1st.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So are you getting out of the basement?
Oh my God, yes. You missed a lot. A lot has happened.
I
Yes,
did.
we bought a little condominium,
Oh, wow.
which is just 2 blocks from here, from their house.
Oh, so this is just for you and Jim.
Yeah,
Good for you.
yeah. Yeah, when we're not recording, I'll tell you how much it costs. It's crazy.
That's what it's like around here now too, but
I know.
relatively speaking, it's probably worse there.
I don't know. I mean, it was cheaper than, I mean, it was more expensive than what we paid for our house, than what we made for our house. Oh, no, it wasn't. It was cheaper than what we made on our house in Barry. But the house
Oh,
in Barry was 3 times the size.
Mm. So now we can see the varied white.
Yeah. You know, the thing is, it's just back and forth with the color, trying to get it right, trying to get the right layer on top. And I think you can see how long I'm having to think about what I'm getting ready to do in between when I pick up and do something. That's a little slower than my normal. That's how it is at the end of the painting, things slow down quite a bit. So I need to add, I think, to that list of your tools that you have, I need to add pressure. I think it deserves its own place as one of the tools that you have, you know, like edges and texture and also just pressure of your stroke. And then that tiny little piece, that's a tiny little piece of some expensive white pastel. And you can see how easy it just floats on top without having to press it down at all.
Which pastel is that?
I don't know. It's just this little piece. When it's gone, what will I do? I don't know. It could just even be a Winsor Newton. You know, they unfortunately don't make those anymore, but somebody gave me a set that they hadn't used at all, and that it might just be a little white Winsor Newton. But I think of the more expensive pastels, I think my favorite are the Jack Richards, whatever it is. Can't actually read his handwriting here on the box. Jack Richardson soft pastels. Yeah, that and the and those new American ones, because some of the others are just, and I like Senneliers, but some of the others are just too soft because of that, you just can't quite control that amount of pressure. Look at this, she just went crazy again. Oh well. I probably just made it so I have to spray it again, what I just now did. Is that the dog snoring, I hope, and not somebody?
No, it's not Zula. I thought maybe it was. I turned around, but it wasn't her.
Here.
Yep, so there she is, making it darker again.
What happened? Are you there?
I guess I am there.
Oh, such dead silence.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know what to say. Yeah, I don't know if I'm doing any of the things that I always tell people to do. I don't think I'm thinking about where to move the viewer's eye. I don't think I'm thinking about anything except trying to get the colors how I think they should be. And I just wonder, I mean, I definitely think my paintings are better that I do outside, but maybe, maybe they gain something in freshness that they lose. Maybe they lose some other things because it seems to me I'm just still murking around here, mucking around for an hour, trying to get the color right and not doing it. And then going back to those rocks again and again, trying to get it more whatever I think it should be, or too much water on it, get too much water on them and then have to take them back and make them rocks again. And then,
So paint what you would like and not what you're seeing.
well, I mean, I am, but
It's so pretty,
well, thanks.
subtle, very beautiful.
Thanks. There's that little piece of white again.
Jeneane, do you keep all of your pastels together, sorted by color, or do you keep the types of pastels together by color?
I kind of do both. I keep them by color, but like the purples nowadays, the purples I have are mostly expensive purples.
Uh-huh.
But I definitely know the minute I pick it up, I know what I've got. You know, I know I've got something I've got to handle with a lighter touch or something I can be more rugged with. Just by the way it feels. And then I weirdly kind of memorize the shape of them, I think. And
So can you feel just by picking it up, or do you have to actually start drawing with it to tell?
mostly I can tell by picking it up. There's this one I have that every now and then I get picked up and it turns out I don't realize what I have. It's kind of a yellow ochre color. And I have picked it up by mistake quite a few times, and I always am threatening that I'm going to throw it right out of my box, but I don't.
Oh, my TV just went on, excuse me.
Okay. So it's really hard for me to be satisfied, you know, and but I think that's something different than doing everything in the picture. Like the color of those rocks, thank God I did something about that, because like right in here, this yellow ochre, that was way too much. And then I toned it down a little bit, so it was just some hints of that yellow or color coming through. But and you can tell like I've kind of almost worked on it too long, because you can see that the sun is coming around behind my hand, and now I'm making little shadows and stuff.